it's me, Nammy again. Hope you're all staying safe. I mean, no one expected that something like this would happen. When the outbreak first started, we were here in Belgium thinking, oh, it's just in China, it will all be fine. But when it started, we all got so shocked and it suddenly went all over the world. In Belgium, it's been very bad. Over 35,000 cases and 4,000 deaths until today. And even until now, and it's afternoon, today there have been 400 deaths. Can you believe that? It's a very bad period, and I know it's very boring. You can't go talk with your friends. It's so boring. Even if you're in your garden, you don't have anyone to play with. I mean, I don't have any toys even, so it's extremely boring for me. But the advantage of having so much time, like I know a lot of people who have fantastic talents and who can use this time, but everybody is there thinking, oh no, I can't meet my friends, so I can go to a sleepover. This is very bad. Meanwhile, they have so much time to just do what they like. I know some people who have been studying like crazy, always doing mathematics and having a hard time, and right when they get this big time where they can do anything they want, they don't want to use it. Like, how? That's just a dumb thought, right? But I am actually using this very well. In the past 4 days, I have finished about 3 comics. I write about 10 pages per day. I'm not saying this to flex, by the way. I'm saying this because I want to motivate you guys to do something as well. And I also am learning a new programming language. I am editing a new Wikipedia called the Scratch Wiki. I've already told you guys about Scratch, right? Now I'm a contributor of the wiki of it, and I'm editing a lot of pages. But you, instead of doing all those things I do, those are my interests, but the things you should mainly also do with me is reading books and watching movies. And today I'm going to be reviewing these books. Now this book is called MAGNUS CHASE. It's another one of Rick Riordan's book, as you can naturally see. And as you know, I've already reviewed a book of Rick Riordan. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely go check it out. It's about the Percy Jackson series. But this one, it was really good, and I really wanted to make a review on it. So Rick Riordan has been writing a lot of books. First of all, I would like to mention that because in the last 1 year, I think I've read very few books that are not from Rick Riordan. And this one is about Norse mythology, because he only makes continuations of various mythologies, and for this one he's chosen Norse mythology. And the thing I really liked about MAGNUS CHASE is that no matter like how much you don't know about Norse mythology, you're like, oh my god, I know nothing about Norse mythology, so this book's gonna be depressing. I mean, that's how I felt when I started reading this, because I want to know the whole backstory. So I was very sad that I didn't know Norse mythology was. But when I started reading it, it was strangely very understandable. Rick Riordan the story brought you in such a smooth way that let you know like what Norse mythology is all about. You automatically knew everything, and I loved that. Alright, so before we go on with what MAGNUS CHASE is, let's talk about what the big deal is with Norse mythology. So I don't really know much because, as you know, I haven't really read Norse mythology, but I learned a bit from MAGNUS CHASE. And so basically the idea is that the main god is called Odin, and they call him the All-Father in Norse mythology. And there is also the evil god Loki, who they put in chains because he did something very bad to the gods, which I'm going to let you figure out because I don't want to spoil anything. And the most funny thing about Norse mythology is that I think we all know Thor with the hammer in the Avengers. If you don't, you can always search him up. He's a very important character in the Marvel Avengers series. The funny thing about Thor is that he is actually a Norse god, and he even has the hammer, just like in Marvel. So apparently the creators of the Avengers decided they become inspired by Thor in the Norse mythology and make him a superhero in the Avengers. So as you can see in the second part of MAGNUS CHASE, it's called the Hammer of Thor because it's something about Hammer of Thor. I'm not going to reveal it though because, yeah, no spoilers. But that's basically what I wanted to say about Norse mythology. Now let's get on with MAGNUS CHASE. Now the only problem is the first part I didn't really get to experience very well, because when I started reading it, then I had the flu, not COVID, I had the flu. And so I didn't really get to enjoy it. I was very sick, my eyes were drooping with the water. I couldn't really enjoy the book, you know. So all I have to say is the first part was fantastic, but I didn't just get to experience it very well. But after my flu ended, I actually started reading the next two books, and those were amazing, and I'm going to talk about these today. So the first thing that, like I said before, or I didn't say before, I totally forgot what's with my head, but like, this book has so much sarcasm in it. Like, the sarcasm, man, Rick Riordan always has so much sarcasm in his book, like even in the worst, most brutal parts of the story, like violent, because the story is about Norse mythology, and you guys know mythologies have some pretty bad things in them sometimes. Like, even the most bad areas, he made it like so subtle that even a 5-year-old would find the story super funny. Like, it's so fun. Yeah, even like, you'll just enjoy this book a lot. When you start reading this, you'll get a smile on your face immediately. There are very rare books that bring me a smile, because most of the books I read are fiction, and because they're so serious, I can't really laugh at them. But this one, I laughed a lot, and if as my parents, I went to them each night and kept showing them chapters, and they were just saying, oh my god, why are you showing us all this? We don't want to know this. But I just kept showing them because it was so sarcastic. But anyways, I know you're itching to know something else now. What is the backstory of Magnus Chase? So to understand the backstory, you have to go all the way back to the first part of the story. And basically, the story is about a 16-year-old. I mean, he's 16 years old. You might think that's very old, but even a 5-year-old would really like this. So Magnus lost his mother when he was 14 years old, and his mother was killed by wolves. So yeah, he's not very happy about that, and he's always been scared of wolves. And one day, his mother had said, when she'd been alive, that he should never go to his uncle Randolph or his uncle Frederick, who were both brothers of his mom. So naturally, he tried to outmaneuver his uncle, because he was homeless when his mother died, and he had a couple of friends, but his life was kind of, you know, not fun, because, I mean, what do you think if someone's homeless? Life's not fun, right? So he was not having a very good time. And then one day, his uncle Randolph comes to him and he tries to find him, but when Magnus tries to escape his uncle, he falls right into his clutches. And what happens is, basically, his uncle actually was trying to do something good to him. Like, he was like trying to protect him, because apparently some Asgardian gods or some weird giant folks like that were trying to kill him. Some wolves and a fire giant were trying to kill him from Norse mythology. And it was his 16th birthday. Magnus hadn't even known, and before he even knew what was going on, his uncle Randolph had brought him to a weird bridge, and he didn't know why they were on a bridge when he just talked about Norse mythology. And he said that he had a destiny to get a sword, the Sword of Summer. That's what this book is called. But when he tried to get it, he got it out of the big ocean underneath the bridge, because apparently it was buried all the way under there. So he tried to retrieve the Sword of Summer, but right when he got it, the fire giant, who he told, came and killed him. Like that, you might think, what? That's the end of the story. Why are you reading such depressing stories? Like, no. He died, but then he came back as a dead warrior of Odin, the All-Father of Norse mythology. And then the story basically goes on in the Hammer of Thor, about what happens, more shenanigans. Like, this story goes more in depth about all the main characters' lives, because as he goes into the world of the dead people who are good soldiers, he finds out more about everybody's life. And this is the sort of like area where the friendship grows. And the last part is the one where you really learn more about the bad person, Loki, the god of evil. And you'll start to learn more and more in each part. And the last part was amazing. I'm telling you, the last part is amazing. Like, the climax of each book is so good, except for the second part. I thought the ending of the second part was kind of anticlimactic, but the rest of them were so good. These two had fantastic endings, and I really, really enjoyed them. Now, the thing I didn't really like about this series is that Rick Riordan normally makes the stories pretty big. Like, if you guys have read Percy Jackson, The Heroes of Olympus, then you'll know that they have like 5 parts, and The Heroes of Olympus was like humongous. Each book is like this big. But I was very sad that this book only had 3 parts because it was a fun book. I think book lovers all know the feeling when a book that you've loved so much ends and you don't have it anymore. You feel like life is empty, you don't have anything. Well, that's how I felt when I finished reading this story. Of course, when I started reading another book, I love the other book I'm reading now. But for now, not for now. What am I saying? But back then, I was so sad that these books ended. So sad. But I know there are also people out there who've probably read the Percy Jackson series from my last review, and they're probably sad that that has ended. Well, let's look here. So there is a demigod map somewhere here. Now, I'm not gonna get that because I feel like that's gonna be a lot of searching, and I'm not gonna do searching on camera. But there is a demigod map in one of these books that says how all the demigods are connected. If you know Percy Jackson, then you know there's a character called Annabeth Chase in it. And Annabeth Chase father's father is Uncle Frederick, and Uncle Frederick is clearly Magnus's mom's brother. So Annabeth and Magnus are clearly related, and they come in this story. In this story, Annabeth comes and Percy also comes. Now, don't ask me how Rick Riordan managed to intertwine Greek mythology and Norse mythology in one book. He made it look like there were gods ruling over all America. He literally said it in such a sarcastic way. There are big lousy gods taking over America. That's how he mentioned it in the book. And I was laughing so hard at that he was literally teasing superior beings. And not just that, I've seen Percy go in Egyptian mythology. Like, there's this book about Egyptian mythology. I haven't read it yet. It's by Rick Riordan though. And I also saw 3 other books in which Percy Jackson meets the people in Egyptian mythology. So Rick is trying to literally like connect all the demigods from all the different mythologies. Now, if I were him, I would just make a totally different story and not even bother about trying to connect everything. But somehow he just does it, and it's very confusing how. But anyways, guys, that was my review about the Magnus Chase series. You should definitely buy them. I mean, not now, because if the delivery man has problems, then you're going to be in trouble. But Magnus Chase were amazing books, and when this lockdown thing ends, then you can buy them and naturally have a good time. And maybe you will send a photo of you smiling after you read this book. You should definitely do that, because I want to know if you guys find this book as fun as I found it. But anyways, guys, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, stay safe. That's more important than liking or subscribing. Stay safe, stay home. And until then, I'm also going to be making a video about how I'm dealing with the lockdown, because then you guys will get motivation. I already gave motivation at the beginning of the video, but if I make a whole video on it, maybe you guys will also do your dreams. So enjoy the lockdown instead of being bored of it. But until then, it's me, Nammy.